Hello everyone, welcome to the first installment of the video series that I'm working up for some self-defense. Basic knowledge for people that have never done martial arts before, have never really got into depth or thought about self-defense before, and also hopefully something valuable for the advanced practitioner of any martial art or thing along those means. So we're going to go over three basic sort of outlooks that I'd like you to think about over the next few days before the next video that will hopefully give you some tools or some tricks of the mind to think about things and get you a little bit more ahead when it comes to self-defense and protecting yourself. So number one is to become educated and make good choices. What does that mean? It means stay in well-lit areas. If you find yourself having to run out for diapers and formula at the Walmart at 3 in the morning, it means that you park in a well-lit area. You park as close as you can to the front of the store. If a large van parks between you and your vehicle when you're leaving the store, you notice that because you're aware and you're looking for it, and you say, I'm not going to go into that blind spot because that van is sort of creeping me out. You can feel the hairs on the back of your neck sort of stand up. You know that something's not quite right about it. Listen to that instinct. Walking upright. Bob here walks upright all the time. He's always looking people in the eye. He's always ready for anything. Doesn't mean that he's just ready for some altercation, that he's always on edge. It means that he's ready for anything. He's ready for life. He looks things in the eyes, and he's prepared to deal with what life brings. A big difference between this and this. Someone who's out there looking for a victim, looking for prey, is looking for this, looking for, oh, I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to stay quiet and I'm not going to cause any issue, versus I don't really want to mess with that person because they're looking me in the eye and they are walking upright and they do not look like prey. Lock your doors. Pretty simple stuff. You're probably going to hear some things you say, I can't believe I don't think about that, or yeah, I've heard that before. The whole point of this is to make it harder to become a victim, make it harder to be prey, and at some point reversing that role, right? Becoming the predator in the moment, not becoming a predator in the real sense, but like when somebody has chosen you as prey, you switch that role so that you can survive and that you can get away. Okay, so locking your doors, very simple. As soon as you get home, you get inside, you lock those doors. As soon as you get into your vehicle, lock the door. Putting up a barrier between you and anything that might be looking to harm you. It's pretty simple, but it's very effective. Keeping your back to the wall. When you're sitting at a restaurant or you are riding in a train or whatever, you're going to be up against the wall, making sure that you keep your eyes on what's going on around you. Standing in line, waiting for something, things along those lines. Lastly is keeping your distance. If someone can't reach you, they can't harm you. We're going to talk about this later on, but the 21-foot rule. A lot of police officers in the past had never heard of it. Most of them have heard of it now. If you want to bring a gun to a knife fight, make sure that you are outside of 21 feet. We'll talk about that later. Number two, becoming aware of the fact that it can happen to you. If you're already watching this video, you're probably a little bit ahead on that because you've had this thought of, I want to watch this video because it's going to be valuable to me, and that's a good thing. Part of that means I realize that it can happen to me. It may have never happened to me. I'm a 6'5", 230-pound CrossFitter that's been doing martial arts for 22 years. I don't really need to use it much. If I were 5'2" and 112 pounds, I might get a little bit more bullied. I might be seen as a victim more often. I may have had to use it more often in that vein. Pretty much no matter who you are, you want to be prepared in thought to know that yes, it can happen to me. I have had altercations, not based on somebody thinking I'm a victim, but based on, you know, me accidentally making somebody angry or something along those lines, to where they thought that they had to defend their ego or whatever. Get fit and maintain fitness. If you can't sprint 100 meters as fast as you can and be able to sort of recover relatively quickly after that, you should probably work on that. Becoming fit and maintaining fitness is a huge aspect to self-defense training. Eat better, drink less alcohol, and smoke not at all. They're just pretty smart basic tenets of life, not just for self-defense, but self-defense is not being on the sofa for 8 hours a day, right? Part of self-defense is having a positive mental attitude, which we're going to talk about in a moment. Get your mind around what violence might look like. And this can be a little bit disconcerting to a lot of people that may not have done it before. We have the internet at our fingertips on our phones and anywhere that we would like to use it. You can look up, and if you're a young one watching this, talk to your parents, talk to an elder before you ever step into this. I'm not responsible for that stuff. For me, I had to reframe how I looked at violence. I didn't know what violence really looked at. What does it look like when somebody gets cut with a knife? What does it look like when somebody gets shot with a gun? If you don't have your mind wrapped around what that can look like, then you're going to have to deal with that initial shock if it happens to you in life. So being in the fact that we have the internet out there, being able to watch those videos, watch a video where something horrible is happening to somebody, it's shocking, it's harsh, it's not fun. I'm not saying that you should do it for pleasure or that I did, but if you can get your head and your mind wrapped around what that looks like, you will be better prepared for the future and handling it if something like that happens. I leave that up to you. It may sound silly, it may sound funny, but wake up with the first alarm. Self-defense is about being prepared on the moment, right? So if that 5 o'clock alarm goes off and you're used to hitting that snooze and sleeping for another 20 minutes, you're training yourself to to just put things off, right? Say, I'll deal with that later. Well, if you train daily to get up on that first alarm, as soon as that alarm goes off, I'm up. Maybe I do 10 push-ups, and then I get right to making coffee, or I get right to my day. You're training to be a self-actualized and an immediately actualized person, and you're going to train yourself intrinsically to be an intrinsically better mechanic for being able to do things right off the bat. Okay. Get used to confrontation. Right off the bat, it's about sticking up for yourself. You can use this at work. You can use this in your daily life, like with your family. If you see things in your life where you are maybe a little bit apprehensive about confronting someone about something that you need or something that you're having an issue with, and you feel those butterflies in your stomach, you feel that anxiety, if you can start to get around that and say confrontation is a part of life, it is a great practicing tool to get around that, and it's going to put you on the forefront being able to deal with things as they come and quicker, and maybe even solve those problems a little bit smaller to where you never have to deal with a self-defense situation. Someone cuts in line, or you accidentally cut in line at the supermarket. Being able to say, excuse me, I was in line, the line is back there, is a much bigger thing than you think it might be. Okay, number 3, positive mental attitude. With knowledge comes power and responsibility. Knowing what we've talked about and knowing what you will know after this course is over is going to give you some power to deal with things, and it's going to give you some responsibility to stick up for yourself and to deal with things yourself. If you watch this and you say, oh, well, I can do everything but become fit, that's true, and that's absolutely your choice, but you're going to be missing them. I would offer that you're probably going to be missing the mark just a bit in that. So back to that positive mental attitude. PMA. See yourself winning. Imagine the worst possible situation that you can think of. Sit down, close your eyes, visualize it. I'm going to make something up. You just rear-ended someone. You were texting on your phone. It was totally erroneous. No reason for you to be on your phone. You rear-ended this person, and now this person got out of their car because they've had the worst day that you can imagine, and they are coming after you. So what? They have no right to physically do anything to you. First off, don't get out of the car. Keep the doors locked, keep your space, keep your distance, call 911, get help to come. But if you end up out of your vehicle and that person is coming after you and the altercation is coming, then you need to see yourself as winning that situation, as either evading or talking them down or physically overpowering. Repeat the mantra, not today. Very quick paraphrasing of a story. Woman jogging, remote trail, uses a restroom on the restroom on the remote trail, and an attacker was waiting for her in the restroom. Jumps on her, he's gonna, choke her out and rape her, whatever. She says, "Not today," curse word, and claws the snot out of him and gets away. She's probably gonna have a few bruises, and I'm sure he does, but she gets away, she saves herself. Much different than if she let fear take her over and she became the victim and let that happen. You can see that, just her attitude and just her yelling "not today" at this guy saved her from some issues. The next one sounds simple, may sound silly. You are loved. People in your life love you. People in your life are expecting you to come home at the end of the day. And there are stories, there are times when people have been in the worst possible situation. They got thrown in a trunk, they got taken out in the middle of nowhere, left for dead. And the only reason that they crawled out of that ditch and got home was she or he visualized and knew that their children and their spouse was waiting for them at home. And that's what helped them. Sometimes we give up on ourselves. We say, "I'm in so much pain. I can't see a future. I don't care. I'm so tired. I'm so hungry. I'm so worn out. I don't care." But the trick is to say and to realize somebody's waiting for me at home. And it takes us out of ourselves and puts us into their vision of how horrible they would feel to know that we were out there and died alone. And we say, "Oh no, I'm getting there." So that's part of positive mental attitude. Frame of mind. Hypervigilance versus paranoia. Are you paranoid or are you just being hypervigilant? I make it fun. Anytime I'm in an elevator and someone else walks in, I would never hurt this person. I would never be violent to this person. But I imagine that something happened and I say, "Oh yeah," and I see it happening and I win every single time. I just make it a game. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm sleeping. Sometimes I'm on my phone and I don't even pay attention. But a lot of times, if I'm in close proximity to someone and I say, "What if they tried to do A, B, C, or D to me? What would I do?" "Oh, I do this, I do that." No. Right? That positive mental attitude puts you into a state of practice that happens all the time. And the more you do it, the deeper and deeper and deeper it gets, along with the awareness that it can happen to you and that it can be extremely violent. You don't need to have a super violent thing happen or to have been in war for it to be real. It can be something that you meditate with, work yourself into, and all of a sudden you'll start to see yourself be not afraid of confrontation, not afraid of self-actualization, not afraid of being able to do what is needed in life to make things happen, and that is part of self-defense. Last thing. Be appreciative of now. Be appreciative of the beauty that we have in this life right now. The fact that you can take a breath. The fact that you can smell a flower. The fact that you can watch a sunrise. The fact that you have a loved one. The fact that you had that conversation 10 years ago that changed things for you. Whatever that is, hold on to it and appreciate the things that you are thankful for. That's the beginning of our class. I hope you appreciate it. Don't worry, we'll get into the physical stuff here soon. We may have, we'll have a lot more words though, because it all starts right here. And I appreciate you watching.